Once you grasp this truth that I'm about to tell you, it'll set you free from religion. It'll set you free from parents and moms and family and governments and police, everybody. It'll set you free. And it's simply this: you are divine. God has exploded in a Crab Nebulae explosion, and he has come and manifested himself as billions of people. And you're one of you, and so am I. When I look at you, I see God. When you look at me, you see God. That's why God's name is I Am. I am God. It doesn't mean that me, God. It means I am. When you say I am God, you have to say, what is God's name? I am. What? I am God. Oh my God, then all the people, Christians run around, oh, I told you they think they're God. I don't think anything on the side. No, Jesus Christ said, the scripture says you are God, and the scripture cannot be broken. So he said it.
Yeah, like I'm not third album.
Peace, family. How you all doing? My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Ascendant Astrology, and I am your astrology coach. Today, I'm going to be discussing Sun in Aquarius conjunct Pluto in Aquarius for the 2024 astrology at 0 degrees, happening on January 21st. This is intense hidden shadow that needs to come to light. We can see revelations, announcements, and more truths coming to light. This can be agenda changes and new downloads, especially something that started back in 2020 when both Jupiter and Saturn were in Aquarius. This is going to kind of trump what was happening in 2020. So there can be new initiatives, new stages of evolution. I think we're going to see a lot of very, very interesting things for sure. Pluto is destruction, what needs to be torn apart. It rules death, transformation, rebirth, trauma, specifically childhood trauma. It could also be money, big money from companies like loans, debt, taxes, insurances. This could also be very spiritual, with the rule, because Pluto rules all the divination, so astrology, numerology, palmistry, intuitives, tarot, etc. This could also be esoteric knowledge for sure. This could be shamanism and things of that nature. And psychology, the psychology of what makes people tick, the psychology of money, doing the deep research to transform and change something. Intimacy, so creating stronger, deeper bonds with others. That's probably going to be really, really, really important. And it's going to be very interesting to see this cycle play out when it comes to stronger, deeper bonds, with it being an Aquarius, seeing as Aquarius is quote unquote, a cold sign. It's co-ruled by Saturn, and so there's said to be some disconnect emotionally with Aquarius energy when Pluto wants that deeper emotional connection. So it'll be very, very, very interesting to see how these two come together in that way. I think it's going to be really dope. These could even be like soul connections, a lot more people with from past lives coming back together to connect in very, very, very special ways. And it'll 9 times out of 10 be either power couples and or um, connections like friends falling in love with each other, and very interesting and different kinds of people coming together, like the odd couples that come together, that you just never ever suspect that these people would be in love, but you can see some stuff like that. I am very intrigued by that idea. I'm very interested in seeing how that plays out. Um, and then the sun is your awareness and its rulership. So people in leadership roles. I think we're going to see a lot of destruction of that, and then some very interesting and unique people in power that you're going to be like, yeah, no, that doesn't sound right. Like this person can't lead anything. We're going to get some major, major, major uh, realizations or learning of acceptance of who you can actually learn from and not judging a book by its cover type of energy here for sure. Um, this is also your vitality, your strength, your power, your personality traits. I think I'm gonna do so right now. I'm currently working on Saturn through the signs. I'll be starting to do that now. Starting today, I'll start posting some of those today. And I think after I get done with that, I'm already halfway done with it. After I get done with that, I think I'm gonna start doing Sun through the signs. I think that's gonna be my next series. So stay tuned for that, family. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, like, share, comment. Let me know if this resonates with you, if you what thoughts you have on this. Let a bitch know what y'all think. Let's talk about it. Um, yeah, this could also be a stronger connection to Uranus and Taurus because Uranus also rules Aquarius. And so this could be more truths around Taurus themes coming out, which I think is going to be the continuation of the Capricorn energy because Taurus and Capricorn and Earth signs, they hold these very practical ideas around economy, government, um, and people in power, positions in power, work. Taurus can be your work or where you get your money from on a consistent basis, right? And so old school Taurus and old school Capricorn is everything of Black Wall Street. What we knew it of when it was booming, right? Black companies mixing, working together, building each other up, things of that nature, bartering from one another. This is, a culture, right? Um, or even tradition, or, the idea of Capricorn can be, passing down things or building things so that your generations to come can have money. That's also very Plutonian, by the way, because Pluto rules death, taxes, insurances, and things of that nature. Um, it's a way of solidifying somebody else's future, right? By um, um, savings, budgeting, passing things down of value and things of that nature. Um, and um, I think the upswing to that, the new age to that is working for somebody else, building somebody else's um, business up are all going to be themes that are dying, right? That we'll see more of the continuation of whatever that is playing out because we're going to see a lot more companies closing. Look at Disney. Disney is, it's a mess. I just went to see Aquaman last night. Aquaman came out yesterday, and this even the storyline in there was very interesting and relatable to the Aquarius Pluto going through Aquarius is knowing your power and who you are. So Uranus is the direct contact to God, in the skies, right? And so being directly connected to that, knowing how to, um, knowing that your intuition is your God power and believing in that. If you remember in the first Aquaman, when he became the real true king, it was like, everybody has a king. Um, but what people really need is a hero, right? And so, what is your superpower? The Aquarius is undoubtedly going to be, especially with Pluto here, being the Phoenix rising, and being able to look at the bigger picture and not let some of these governmental, beliefs and systems, we're not going to be so much abiding by those rules, laws, and regulations anymore with the breakdown of companies, businesses, and government, right? And so Aquarius is like, okay, yeah, fine. So we don't have that system anymore. What is the new system that the people are going to create, right? Because Aquarius rules the people. And so it's going to be up to us to step into our power so that we can create what we were meant to create. What is your God power? What is your superpower? Who are you? Regardless of what other people think, right? So we're going to see a lot of people stepping into their power. I might post that post again if I can find it. It's probably like back in 2020 when I posted that post, but if I can find it, maybe I'll repost that because I definitely think that this is going to be that moment that played out in Aquaman when he became the real true king when he got his trident. Um, and the new one, so spoiler alert for people who haven't seen it yet, first and foremost, I'm sorry. But in this one, some of the themes that I saw were he just didn't give a fuck about politics. Like it was nothing to him. This is such an Aquarian theme. Like, who cares, right? The government is the government. The people, we're down here doing real shit. Like, we care about human lives and humanity, right? And those things are more important than your beliefs of A, B, and C, right? Or your laws, rules, and regulations, right? And especially if it's not about bringing peace, harmony, love, etc. And so it was very, very interesting that that theme was huge throughout that entire movie, right? He did not care about being the king. This nigga fell asleep on the throne. I was fucking crying. I was like, I love this. So another theme was bringing family back together. That was another really big theme, family. I think I talked about this back in 2020, is that this is going to be the rise of male energy. And I know a lot of people disagreed with that and some of what I had to say, but take the person out of it if it bothers you and just think about it energetically as males here in the 3D realm, they're getting the shit end of the stick. I think we both are, but I think males have it a little bit harder than most of everybody else here. Because there are a lot more rules, laws, and regulations around keeping them away from their power, not seeing who they are and not allowing them avenues and things to step in their power, but more blockages. And right. And so as these companies and things fall down, more avenues are going to be built and create for people to step into their true power without the restrictions and blockages and things of that nature. A lot of what I was talking about back in 2020 is going to be very heavy in that way. And so awakenings out the wazoo, people are going to be like that moment, like, oh shit, I am the shit. The fuck you are. Like you really are. And so step into that, build that, create that, and make a new world, so to speak. That's going to be another really big theme. That was a really big theme throughout the entire movie. Um, was breaking down or blocking or fighting, so war, to protect that idea, right? Um, um, I think families coming together, families healing. So going back to Pluto with healing trauma, death and rebirth, to grow into this new awareness, to see things from a higher perspective so that we can come together. Because if we don't do that and we don't heal those things, let's just face it, um, there's not going to be a real revolution without those things, right? And so, there's going to be there's going to be a lot of shit that's going to be hard to look at, and I'll talk more about that as I get further down, but it's going to be a lot harder things to look at and relation to coming into this change transformation to see that higher purpose. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fun. It's going to be very uncomfortable, but very necessary and very worth it. This is your concrete rose story. So the rose that rises through concrete, like how does something so beautiful come from the dirt, the darkness, that whole idea of gestation and birth and the pain that comes with that, yet you birth a beautiful child um, who, potentially has this greatness within them that they're meant to acquiesce into the world, right? Kind of that whole idea is going to be happening on a pretty drastic expanded level. Um, and I think it's going to be scary for a little while for a lot of people. But once you see the truth, you can't go back to what used to be. That's the beautiful part about your God power, is once you step into this, it's a continuous battle of stepping stones, bricks being thrown at you. But if you build a strong heart, you become a warrior in a sense where nobody can ever take anything from you again. And so we're building character here. That's what we're talking about. And standing on business, on who you are and what you believe in. That journey is tough within itself, but the transformation is just as painful. But it comes with a sense of integrity and things of that nature. I think it's going to be really beautiful. That was another really big theme there. Getting to this point of like, I really don't give a fuck because I done been through what? Okay, you can't tell me nothing. Like, God. So we're definitely gonna be stepping into that Aquarius independent, not caring what anybody has to say about who we are and the choices that we make, kind of energy, which I think is gonna be really dope to see. Um, especially on a social level, social groups and things of that. I think we're going to see a lot more new, different, innovative kind of social groups coming together, whether they're political or, just between the people. I think it's going to change and grow throughout the years of Pluto being in Aquarius. But yeah. Um, Another theme that was very interesting was that the brother, so in the first one, the two brothers didn't get along. The Aquaman's brother was kind of taught to raised to hate him. And he learned, you can see it so fucking clearly that you can see he realized, oh shit, I really was birthed into some kind of animosity. This is so Pluto. When you look at somebody for growing into their God power and you have jealousy, envy, hatred, animosity, and envious towards somebody who steps into their power, um, because you haven't. or because you're choosing not to, or you're making up excuses. You rather stay in the dark. You don't want to grow and transform. There's fear there, fear of change, fear of growth, fear of your own light. All these kind of like dead, separative, divide and conquer type themes. Wow. That was a really, really, really powerful scene to watch him see himself through seeing Aquaman, because he just didn't fucking care. And it wasn't egoic. He wasn't afraid to ask his own enemy to help him fight for, to do the right thing. This kind of reminded me of bricks. If you guys remember, I've been talking about bricks lately. Well, I haven't been talking about it lately, but I did do a lot of talking about it. I do think we're going to see a lot of people fall from bricks due to lack of finances and just like not really prepared. Um, two things I'm getting with this, because there are a lot of people who want to play this game of life, but don't believe that money is important. That theme is going to be important. And I think this is the reason why we're going to see a lot of people, um, not a lot, but maybe a few people kind of fall from grace, if you will, out of bricks because they don't have the financial backing that they need to do it. And it could be sucking the life out of their economy, right? Taurus rules economy. Um, and so the importance lesson that we're learning from that is that two things, it's both spiritual and financial. Cup runneth over, right? You can fill up your cup, do your own healing, build yourself up, build your economy up, but then you have to have additional money, things, resources to be able to fix other people's issues. So giving to other people, trying to fix other people, holding out for other people, not wanting to leave people behind. Like these themes are going to be tremendous because Aquarius rules friends, social groups, people coming together and things of that nature. If we continue to refuse to learn those financial lessons, we're still at the risk of losing the war. You gotta pay to play. Just period. I know people don't want to hear that, and it's a hard concept, and it has nothing to do with the fact that money is everything and money is right. That's not it. You have to come with tools and additional tools to fight your enemy. So if your enemy has more tools than you do, and you don't want to have or incorporate yourself with those tools, you tell me who's going to win that fight, right? You have to pay to play, just period. To make change, you're going to have to meet these suckers where they're at, just period. Until you get over that hump, this is where cuppeth runneth over. You still have the additional backing to continue to help other people. We have to fight this war. We got to get serious about it. And we got to let go of our fear and beliefs or, detachment and ideologies of, what it is to have money. This isn't about being wealthy. It has nothing to do about being wealthy. This is the art of war. We are at war, right? And so if we don't learn that lesson, it becomes extremely hard to fight your enemy, just period. You're going to have to get over the hump and then fix everything and change it back to money not being so important. I hope that made sense, but that's going to be another theme I think we're going to see being played out here. But the beautiful part about it was that people recognizing that the enemy or the ideology that's being sold around people stepping into their power is going to be eliminated. Take some time. We got what is this, a 20-year cycle to learn, and a lot of people will. It's going to be a pretty big deal, but I think we are going to ultimately learn that I have power too. I don't have to be jealous. I don't have to be envious. I don't have to be hateful or jealous of somebody else stepping into my power because I know who I am now and embracing that. And I think that is the loving, um, healing starlight of Aquarius energy, because I really do believe in humanity and want to see everybody win. I mean, if you even look at the mythology of Aquarius or Uranus, he stole the lightning bolt to give to the people because he got tired of seeing them be dismantled by gods. Like you're fighting people that have way more fucking power than you. How is that fair? And he was the only one who stood up and said, you know what? I'm going to give them the lightning bolt. So again, awakenings, lightning bolt, shocking revelations and understandings, foresight, vision. It's going to be really amazing to see people who don't feel like they have it, get it, and heal and rise above that ideology. Um, and I think that was mostly it. I can say so much more, but I think I did a good job without actually giving the movie away. So, yeah. But yeah, so we're going to see companies closing, jobs lost, and more things falling apart. Those in power and those who want power, and the crazy lengths that they're willing to do to stay in power. That theme is going to be monumental and quite psychotic. But what can you do? I think again, war is going to be another theme. Elections. I think this is an election year, if I'm not mistaken. That's going to be interesting. And more awakenings. We're going to see who's being recruited, the backhand handshakes, uh, the behind closed doors deals, um, things with borders, again, business deals, the behind the scene business deals and negotiations, which by the way, they gave that away in the movie that I talked about in my last video. Did I talk about it? Um, the one that the Obamas made. Now, of course, I can't remember the name of that movie, but let me know, you guys, if since I've talked about it, if you've seen that other video, if you watched it, and if you agree or disagree. But all those things that I just talked about, I mean, they hit every nail in the head of who the enemy is, why all that stuff was happening. It was wild and scary to think about, but I do think that's going to be, unfortunately, more unfolding storylines. Um, um, Essentially, this has been showing us where we've had to stay grounded during chaos, where we've had to focus on our finances and resources, self-worth and values, budgets and savings, work that is satisfying and growing, money to start a business while the economy is going through these kinds of changes. And Pluto and Uranus wants us to find joy in recreating this process of building. What brings you joy? Find sustainable ways to do what you love. You're going to get downloads on this, to whatever that is for you, specifically. Um, or how to grow what you've already been working on, right? Because everybody's going to be at different levels than this, right? So if you've created, so if we're talking about 2020, right? I can give you an example of this. 2020 was back when all small businesses booming, just straight out the gate. Like people was like, black business, black owned business, support black business, support small businesses, right? And now you've seen that's kind of died down, right? We're going to see the evolution of that continue. And so again, back to Black Wall Street. This is how I envisioned 2020, especially with Saturn energy. If you haven't, I went off in 2020, okay? I broke down the history of it all. That was like I if I could go back to that year just to talk about that stuff all over again, I would, because I love our history and who we are in that way. But I think we're going to see an evolution of that. Now, there's going to be different moving pieces. Not everybody's going to come back that you was working with. Some people just weren't meant for you. There are others that you're probably still connected to that can grow and expand in a very magical um, kind of way. There's going to be newer people coming in, people who didn't get a chance back then because they weren't ready. Now they're ready. A lot of people coming back together, kind of connecting, like that whole scene was in 2020 with everybody trying to start their own businesses. They're going to get another chance to continue that dream, that lifestyle, that ideology, that idea, whatever. Um, um, yeah. And so you're gonna get some downloads about whatever that is for you, how to grow it, um, and continue to grow in what you was doing. So think back to 2020, how far you've come, what you're ready for, ready or not, because Aquarius is definitely going to set us off into um lightning speed, right? Uranus is lightning, things that are very fast, quick, unpredictable, unexpected, out of the blue, sudden wealth, sudden changes of fates and religion. And I mean, it's gonna be amazing, multi-dimensional, right? That was another theme that I seen in the Aquaman movie too, is that they wanted to show who they were. So I got the impression that like this idea of aliens and other life forms and things of that nature that are out there, that they're tired of hiding. They want people to know who they are. Because one of the scenes, Aquaman was like, um, that a complaint from the government, the panel, or the people in power, if you will, were like, oh, yes, the humans have been destroying our life force uh, for many, many years, and it's time for it to stop. But Aquaman is like, well, how are you can't expect them to change if they don't know you're here. Um, and so why don't we just tell them who we are, that we are here, so they can know not to do it and change that ideology? Now, I had a problem with this because it kind of sounded like integration all over again. And maybe I'll change my ideologies on this, but knowing what I know from history, I don't think integration was the best thing for us. Going back to Brits, and when you understand economics, um, if you don't have enough to be saving yourself and your people, integration is not a good idea. Going back to that idea of cup runneth over. You cannot give to people and help people if you cannot help yourself. You're going to fall. And this is not a good or a bad thing. It's just being realistic, right? We're talking about Saturn here. Saturn is very practical and realistic. It's not about not helping somebody because you don't want to, or all the negative ideologies that we've kind of been taught societal wise, and how rude and disruptive it can be to not give a helping hand. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about common sense here. If you can't take care of yourself, I'm sorry. Um, if you think that giving a piece of yourself to help somebody, it's not realistic. It's really not realistic. If the system cannot hold and you extend your hand, when you extend your hand, and the system's gonna fall because you're giving away what you need, that's not a wholesome idea. This reminds me of this ideology we have about 50-50 when it comes to relationships. You are not 50-50. You are 100% a whole person. You're not 50% of yourself. You cannot give 50-50. It has to be 200. Like that's just basic math here, people, right? And so we have to let go of a lot of the misteachings and misunderstandings around that idea in order to make something better. And until we get that, we're continuously going to be in mayhem and struggle and disdain that kind of goes back to those lower vibrational energies of Pluto that create jealousy, envy, because nobody else is winning. The reason why those people are jealous, envious, hatred, hateful, etc., is because you can't help them, right? There's not enough to go around. Is there a solution? Absolutely. It doesn't have to be that way, but if you don't do it the right way, somebody's always going to be left out of the picture. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so you have to create enough you got to build yourself up first. And then you have to build your reserves in order to help other people. And until we understand that logic, we're always and consistently going to be in that repetitive Pluterian cycle. And so keep that in mind, and that's going to be something that needs to change, right? Um, yeah. So I do think that we're going to see a lot more life forms, aliens, and that whole storyline there is going to be a pretty big theme. I know I just went off on a tangent. Sorry. Um, but Pluto first dipped into Aquarius back in March of this year, 2023. And then it moved back into Capricorn for a good chunk of time. Now Pluto's going to enter Aquarius until November of 2024 for 1 month before it goes back into Aquarius, and that's it. It'll be there until 2044. I hope I said that right. And so the sun will shine a light on things Pluto is not comfortable with. Pluto wants to stay in the dark. Pluto is very uncomfortable in the sun's light. Pluto is more comfortable in bringing things to light in its own time. Um, and the sun says, no, now's the time to look at what's been going on. You have to look at the reality of what's going on. The sun wants to see the deep, dark truth that is very uncomfortable and hard to look at. This can cause discomfort in ourselves. We may want to push things away and not see the truth. However, the sun is saying it's time to move on and make changes because we have new assignments, right? We're stepping into another evolution of God power. And the sun is not going to let Pluto get away with anything. It's going to take some years before everything unfolds, but you best believe the first wave of whatever this is going to be whatever it is for a very long time until it kind of unfolds. And then as we move into deeper um, um, degrees of Pluto and Aquarius. And every time it hits that sun, is going to be more things coming to light, more things coming to light, more things coming to light. So that'll be interesting to see. But yeah. Um, um, the sun wants us to step into the light, but we have to acknowledge the truth first before we can move forward. So we got some time here before we see a lot of these things unfolding. Some people are already ready. Those will be the what we call the first line of defense, who will get a real good taste of what other people will learn later down the line. And hopefully their cup runneth over, to be able to give us a hand. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? This is going to activate our awareness and again, awakenings, our God power, what special gifts we have. This can be intense and uncomfortable. It can be fast and unpredictable. We're going to discover parts of ourselves that we couldn't even imagine. We're going to want to do things in completely different ways. But the biggest part is that we're going to learn that we need support and we can't do it alone. So again, a lot of alignments, going back to what I was saying earlier about soul connections, people from past lives coming coming together, meeting each other and in this lifetime to continue what past life storylines are going to be playing are going to play out for a lot of people, which I think is going to be absolutely fucking phenomenal. I cannot wait to meet my soul tribe. I want to know who they is, where y'all at? Like, where the fuck are y'all? Um, um, so yeah, so we're gonna learn that we need help and resources, coaches, teachers, right? Because we got a lot of unlearning to do to relearn, and even people who think they know stuff now, like going back to school, educating yourself. A lot of reading is going to be a massive theme. Book clubs, social clubs that talk about these things. Even I even see like um 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 not just book clubs, social clubs, but like couples clubs, like family clubs, like all these types of things come to my mind when I think about these things in order for us to reshape and reframe our ideologies on things. And I think we're going to learn a lot more new things. Um, and even some old things that have been suppressed with Pluto, right? Because we're talking about childhood trauma, opening up new doors to new storylines, new ancestral lines, new roots and history and knowledge about who we are and where we come from. Um, this can bring anarchy to the public anytime the truth comes out. You know, again, these people are going to go through great lengths to keep things covered up. This could be world events that create chaos. This is the agenda to continue separating and dividing us, distracting us, and keeping us confused. But what I really like about Aquarius is that it has two rulerships. So you got Uranus, that's your higher self, and then you got Saturn that's still grounded here on Earth. We need that because some of us really be thinking like, I was listening to an astrologer who happens to be an Aquarius, by the way, and I was like, oh my God, she gets it. Like, that was a confirmation for me. I wanted to kiss her in the mouth, literally. She said I don't remember what she was talking about. I think it was the Pluto and Aquarius transit, and she was talking about how you have these people who be like, they want to disassociate with the 3D. She was like, just in case you were wondering when you say that, the disassociation with the 3D, which is here on Earth, means death. So do you want to die? She's like, just think about that for a minute. I was like, bitch. Oh my God, say it again for the people in the back. Like, you cannot escape the 3D. The 3D is where it's got to be, you know, that is the concrete rose, right? That's the school of the hard knocks. That's where you gotta, this is what you chose. You know, you came back here to acquiesce during this lifetime, this lesson with this specific energy, to think that you can run away or get away or avoid or hide or put things under the rug and think that everything's going to be a-okay. Um, yeah, it's not going to work. And Saturn is going to be here to remind us of that. And so Saturn comes in and says, you need to organize, you need a path, you need a system, and you need a structure. um Higher consciousness is the revolution. Awareness is the new cool. And you're going to rise up in your power and not care what other people have to say. You're not going to care what other people expect of you. All those things are going to be dead, done ideas and ideologies because ultimately they are blockages, right? And I think it's going to be a beautiful thing to see. Family, I, for one, can't wait. I think it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be hard. But when you see who you are and you look in that mirror and you realize what your true power is, that's going to be what makes the journey all the more worth it. And so, family, as usual, I love and appreciate you. I hope you found this information helpful. Peace.